Mag-start na kayo. Good morning, everyone. I am the first reporter of Group 5, Chapter 6. My topic is all about meaning of standard cost and standard costing and historical costs. Slide. Standard cost is a figure which represents an amount that can be taken as a typical of the cost of an article or other cost factor. And it is established on the basis of planned operations, planned cost efficiency levels, and expected capacity. Standard cost ay isang figure na kumakatawan sa isang halaga na maaaring kunin bilang tipikal ng halaga ng isang article o iba pang kadahilanan ng gastos. Example, the direct materials necessary to produce a wood desk might include wood and hardware. This is slide. Next slide. And the standard costing is a method of cost accounting in which standard costs are used in recording certain transactions and the actual costs are compared with the standard cost to learn the amount and reason for variations from the standard. Standard costing is the practice of estimating the expense of a production process. It's a branch of cost accounting that's used by a manufacturer, for example, to plan their costs for the coming year on a various expenses such as direct materials, direct labor, or overhead. Historical cost. Historical cost is also known as actual cost. The meaning of this cost suggests the actual cost of products which have been incurred in their production. Historical cost ay kilala rin bilang actual na gastos, and historical cost of an asset refers to its purchase price or its original monetary value. Based on the historical cost principle, the transactions of a business tend to be recorded and at their historical cost. The concept is in conjunction with the cost principle, which emphasizes that assets, equity, investments, and liabilities should be recorded at their respective acquisition costs. For example, you buy a piece of equipment for $500, the cost you record in your books reflects the original price, $500. You do not change the amount recorded if the market causes the equipment's value to change. Next slide, please. There are the concepts of standard cost and the standard costing. Standard cost is called predetermined cost, the different standard regarding all the elements of cost. Materials, labor, and overheads are determined on the basis of historical cost and many other factors. Standard costs are estimates that are labor and overhead needed to produce goods or services and also relates to a product, services, process, or an operations. And the standard costing is a perfect system of controlling the cost and measuring efficiency and its development. It is a technique of cost reduction and cost control. Standard costing is a method businesses use to define production target, cost, and then contrast actual production cost with the targets. Next. There are the advantages of standard costing. First is proper planning. Proper planning means that not only is there that the project, is there a process in place to ensure that the project system is quickly made aware of any issues that can compromise success, but also that there is a system in place to quickly resolve them. Second is efficiency cost control. Efficient cost control is optimizing production processes, reducing material waste, and improving operational efficiency. Third is motivational factor. Motivational factor, the set of needs that explain the behavior of people. Fourth is comparison of forecasting and outcome. Next is inventory control. Inventory control, the process of ensuring the right amount of supply is available in an organization. Economical system. Economical system, a means by which societies or governments organize and distribute available resources, services, and goods across a geographic region or country. Next is helpful in budgeting. Helpful budgeting. In budgeting, a budget helps create financial stability and allows you to create a spending plan for your money. Next is helps formulate policies. Helps formulate policies is accurate and reliable data, engagement with stakeholders, and decision makes, and a commitment to evidence-based decision making. And last is help distinguish help distinguish activities. And last is eliminates wastage. Wastage. Eliminates wastage, closing processes in the chain of waste treatment ending with the incineration of the remainders, and to remove the action or muda, which doesn't add any value to the products observing current state and detail. Next, please. There are there are the 9 limitations of standard costing. First is costly system. Costly system is designed to monitor the costs incurred by a business. Second is difficulties and fixation of standard. Difficulties in fixation of standard, it is always difficult to determine precise standard cost in a given situation which will coincide with actual cost when operations are over. Third is constraint for service industry. Constraint for service industry, the theory of constraints says that every business system, regardless of the industry, has at least one limiting factor affecting optimal performance. Fourth is consistency of standard. Consistency of standard is a principle that identifies the need for language, icon symbolism, and all other recurring elements within user interfaces to remain the same across different tasks. Fifth is unsuitable for standardized products. Unsuitable for non-standardized products is utility grade, shop grade, rejects, decorative siding, on grade, productions overruns, winner, and web stock. Six is relatively fixed standard. Seven is difficulties for small industries. Difficulties for small industries include hiring the right people, building a brand, developing a customer base. Eight is discouragement for workers. Discouragement for workers who have stopped looking for work because they found no suitable employment options or failed to be shortlisted with applying for a job. The causes for workers' discouragements are complex and varied. Last is inaccurate, diverse results. inaccurate reverse results related to race and social justice issues. Let's conclude my report. That's
Mag-start na ako. Good morning, everyone. I'm Nick's reporter in Chapter 6, Objectives of Standard Costing. Objectives of standard costing system may be used to control costs, which is achieved mainly by setting standard for each type of cost. First, to institute a control mechanism on all the elements of cost that affect production and sales. Second, to measure different operational efficiencies and check with speed. Third, to improve the delegation of authority and generate a sense of responsibility among the employees. Fourth, to develop a cost conscientiousness in the employees. Fourth, to presume the production cost, sales, and profit. Six, to avail the benefits of management by exception. Seven, to bring about a vivid reservation and sagacious decision making at its managerial level. Next slide. Preliminaries of establishment of standard cost system. The following 4 points are usually considered for setting up a standard cost system in a business. So, sa preliminaries of establishment of standard cost system is a standard costing system may be used to control costs, which is achieved mainly by setting standards for each type of cost. Setting of cost center. Setting of cost center, a cost center manager is only responsible for keeping costs in line with the budget and does not bear any responsibility regarding revenue or investment decision. Second, classi- classification of account as inventory, investment, plant and machinery, goods, well, patient, types of standard. Types of standard is basic standard, current standard, attainable standard, and normal standard. Setting the standard. Setting the standard is four types of setting standard. First, standard of materials. Material standard are mix of performance and prescriptive element. Second, material quantities. Material quantities is the less of individual quality of the material of each item of work. Standard for labor. If an employee can produce more than 10 units per hour, she will receive a bonus. Material price. The including in like rugs used in the construction of a house. Thread used to the stitch clothing together and the lubricants or oil used in the machine that create the product of service. Next slide. System of Setting of cost center. A cost center is a location people on items of equipment for cost me ascertain and used for the purpose of cost control. Classification of accounts. To use the system of standard costing effectively, all accounts have to classified on the basis of their functions, items of revenue, nature, asset, and liabilities, etc. Types of standard, current standard, basic standard, current standard, or current standard are of three types like first dial standard, second expected standard, third normal standard. And basic standard, it is similar to an index number against with all results are measured. Next slide po. Setting. Setting of this. Setting the standard. Standard for setting of the standard. Standard materials. Material standard a mix of performance and prescriptive elements. Material quantities. Material quantity is the list of individual quality of the material of each item of work mentioned in the bill of quantity. Standard for labor. Standard for labor, if an employee can produce more than 10 units per hour, she will receive a bonus. Material price, they include things like rugs used in the construction of a house, thread used to clothing together, and the clothing and the lubricants or oil used in the machine that create the product of service. Setting of overheads. Setting of overheads costs are those that are not directly related to the production of goods or service but are necessary for the operation of a business. Standard hour. A standard hour is the amount of work achievable at the effective level of efficiency in an hour. Next slide po. Distinguish standard cost standard standard cost versus historical cost. The standard cost versus historical cost. Standard costs are estimate that are made upfront for materials, labor, and overhead needed to produce goods or service. Historical costs can be obtained after production because they present what actually occur during the manufacturing process. Standard cost versus estimated cost. A standard cost is the budgeted cost of a regular manufacturing process against which actual costs are compared. An estimated cost is the overall expected future expenses incurred by a project or manufacturer. Standard versus budgetary cost. Budgetary cost. The term standard cost refers to a specific cost per unit. Budgeted cost refers to cost in total given a certain level of activity. Cost center versus profit center. Thank you. Next reporter na po. Explanation.
So, good morning everyone. Mabati ba? Mabati? Te?
Mabate.
Oh. So, my name is Rovilyn
Yes
Ilyurico.
po.
So, my topic is all about the standard cost card. So, the standard established for each element of cost, such as of material, labor, and overhead for a product are recorded in statement form known as standard cost card. So again, the standard cost is it is a document that summarizes the direct material, direct labor, and overhead standard quantities and prices needed to complete one unit of product. So pag sinabing direct materials is nag-refer siya to the materials na ginagamit to create a product, while the direct labor is refers to the employee's work to produce the product. While the manufacturing overhead is it includes indirect costs such as the electricity required to power your facility. Next. So, na siya, amin siya example, sample of standard cost card. So, sa sample of standard cost card, para makuha ang standard cost, i-multiply da siya. I-multiply ang quantity o ang amount. So, sa element of cost, lang kay na standard cost, dito nga to ang direct materials, direct labor o overheads. So sa direct materials na iduha the material X and the material Y. So para makuha ang ila standard cost and sa material X ang 10 units i-times na siya sa amount of 5 para makuha ang 50. Amo sab sa material Y na 20 units i-times sa 10 para makuha ang 200. Then i-add ang units para i-add ang 10 units of 20 units para total of 30 units. Amo sa standard cost na 50 and 200 equals to 250. Nga di sa less normal wastage na 10%, the 5 units nakuha iya din 50 pesos is gikuan siya ang 10% i-times na siya sa 5 units, then ikuan sa 5 i-times sa 100 para makuha ang 50 pesos. Nga di sa normal output na 25 units para nga di sa normal output nakuha ang 25 units because gi-subtract ang 30 units sa 5 units. Sa standard cost gi-subtract ang 250 sa 50 naman na 200 na kan siya. Amo sa direct labor. Para makuha ang standard cost, i-multiply gyapon siya ang 10 hours i-times sa 2, makuha ang 20. Amo sa overheads na variable og sa fixed na pareha 10 hours, i-times na siya sa 1, yakuha ang 10 og sa fixed na 2, yakuha ang 20. So para makuha ang total cost, gi-add tanan ang 200 plus 20 plus 10 plus 20 is equals to 250 pesos. While ang sa add profit 10% on cost, yako gikan inin 25 pesos nga di sa kuan ang 10% kasi ang 10% ng 250 is 25. Kaya nakabota nga di add profit 10% of cost naman niya oy 25. So para makuha ang iya sales price, gi-add da ang 250 og 25 para ma-equal siya ng 275 pesos. Nakuha ba sa standard cost? Sa next slide na. So, nga di sa meaning of analysis of variance is the calculations of the actual cost or actual sales from the standard cost or profit or sales. So, calculation of variances is the main object of standard costing. This calculation shows that whether costs are under control or not. A variance may be favorable or adverse between actual and standard. So when actual cost is less than standard cost or profit is